Hey guys, it's Frankie. Welcome to the Think Tank. So, plot twist. Hi, Dandy. Hello, Mexi. Hello, Shauna. Good to see you guys. So, this Kohlberger case, every day there's something. So, hello, James. Good to see you, friend. So, I have got a little bit put together for us to see if, see what we think, actually. There's so much from way back when his sisters were probably searching his vehicle, to him getting arrested in Pennsylvania, to what is going on right now. Are they literally looking for more stuff in Pennsylvania, and have they had some success? So let's see here. Kohlberger's parents will be called to testify in front of the grand jury. So this is from Brian Enton, and it says that his parents have been called to testify before a grand jury in Pennsylvania. The case is related to Dana Smithers, a 45-year-old woman who went missing in May of 2022 in Monroe County. That's the same Pennsylvania county where Kohlberger lived. What the hell? A source close to the case says Kohlberger has a solid alibi, and it's not likely connected to the Smithers disappearance, but the grand jury has not concluded their proceedings, and the investigation is ongoing. So while we're going through, Tina Turner died, didn't she? Like, how sad is that? 83 years old she was. I was lucky enough to see her in concert, and yeah, may she rest in peace. So let's see here. It's basically saying that they are looking into another Pennsylvania case, and unsure if Kohlberger is involved in that either. Demolition of the house where the 4 University of Idaho students is still planned for this summer demolition. I was wondering about that. Doesn't look the same, does it? Porta potties and all. Wow. Just horrific. Just horrific. So I'm kind of curious. Do you think his parents possibly know or knew anything about this? Yeah. Tina Turner has left us alone on this earth. Simply the best. Well said, James. Simply the best. Yep. Agreed. A legend who paved the way for many. I do. I feel very fortunate to have been able to go see her. Way back when a friend of mine won 2 tickets to go see her. She put her name in this little 7-Eleven basket thing for, 10 at a time. So let's see here. Seems like they may have suspected him with his behavior. Yeah, it sounds like there may have, rolling on the river. Good God, we don't need another hero. There's so many good ones, oh my word. So I find this interesting. Kohberger's sister searched his car for evidence before police swooped in. So what do you think could possibly have made them come to that kind of question about their brother? Like, if something happens near where my brother's living, I don't go search his car next time I see him. So what has happened here? Oh, it says, so it may have been just the one sister feared that her brother was involved with the university kids before the police swooped in on the parents, according to a bombshell report. So I don't know. I haven't watched this Dateline thing. I'm not too sure what to think of it. And I don't want to get kind of convoluted by different facts that we're not sure of at this point. So it sounds like she told Dateline that sounds like it's an older sister grew increasingly suspicious of her brother after his behavior when the family gathered to spend holidays together. So Maxie and I were talking about this. Why do you think his dad literally flew to one side of the country to drive his 28-year-old home? Does that seem normal to you? Like, I don't think so. For more than 6 weeks, no suspects were publicly identified. So in mid-December, he doesn't deserve the mister. I'll just call him Kohlberger, a 28-year-old criminology PhD student at Washington State University, embarked on a cross-country trip with his dad. But during his time home, some of his family members noticed that he was behaving somewhat bizarrely. The source said that Mr. Kohlberger was constantly wearing those damn latex gloves, including in the house. So I don't know. How normal is that? One of the two older sisters began to wonder if he could have played a part in these deaths. At one point, she raised the concern with other family members. She loudly pointed out that at the time of the deaths, her brother was just living a few miles from the crime scene and drove a white Hyundai Elantra. So again, what would make someone just decide that one of the relatives could be guilty of something like this? It blows me away. And that's the thing, James. I'm sure his sisters know him best. He was a sister-loving peeping Tom. Just throwing that out there. Oh, my word. Yeah. Along with his bizarre tendencies to wear latex gloves all the time, she believed the family should consider that Mr. Kohlberger might have attacked the 4 victims. The father allegedly defended his son and insisted he could not have been involved, but the concerns were clearly big enough for several of the family members to reportedly decide to search the 28-year-old's vehicle looking for possible evidence. See, who does that? Who does that? By that point, police said Mr. Kohlberger had already been seen spot cleaning the car with bleach. And so the family members didn't find anything of note. I just find this really, really odd. At the time of his arrest, the source said Mr. Kohlberger was wide awake, standing in the kitchen wearing latex gloves and putting his personal trash in plastic bags to take out and put in a neighbor's garbage can. So let's see here. Anything else we can learn from this? Oh, there's also this. Kohlberger is accused of breaking into a student's home in the early hours of November 13th. Oh, this is the one. No, I thought they were going to talk about the other one that they think he could be involved in. They're talking about the sheath and the Hyundai. Ethan and Xana. New details have also emerged about what was found during an initial search of his apartment and the rental storage unit, and show that 2 items found in his apartment tested positive for blood. See, I don't know. A person needs to know just a little bit more about this, you know, because it could be his blood. They're saying that the weapon still has not been found. You know, and there's in that one list from, I think it was, I don't know if it was a search from his parents. I think so. Where the first thing they list is a knife. So it kind of throws a little bit of curve into your brain, wondering whether or not they're being sly. So they are checking around Pennsylvania. Beautiful girls. So we know that he studied under Catherine Ramslid, and she did a huge dive. She got to know him, BTK. She wrote a book about him. She did some amazing research and probably knows him better than probably almost anybody out there. So let's see here. He also carried out a research project. Remember that, where he was asking people to tell him about how they felt during crimes? Just strange. So we know that he is facing life or the DP. Big piece of caca. Well, hello, Leo. Nice to see you. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, friend. Yeah, BTK, right? Pretty fascinating is right. Like Asperger's almost. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, this case, it's just every time I turn around, there's just that much more. So this one here, KSL, I will have to, I think they're in the description. If not, I will put it in there. So this is Steve Goncalves. This is Kaylee's dad. And he's saying that basically while he was in that courtroom, all he felt was rage. Now, that doesn't surprise me because he was pretty vocal at the very beginning when they first found out about what had happened to their kids. So the father of slain University of Idaho student Kaylee Goncalves said he felt rage in the courtroom on Monday when he attended the arraignment for the man accused of unaliving Kaylee and the 3 other students. You go through all kinds of emotions, but rage is definitely, probably the primary emotion you have. So we do know that Bryan Kohberger, who is 28, appeared for his arraignment in the Latah County Courthouse on Monday after he was indicted last week on the 4 counts of first degree, 1 count of burglary. And this is for attacking Kaylee, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. So we know as of right now, the trial is set for October 2nd. And they're saying that's going to last about 6 weeks. Now, from the date of this arraignment, the prosecutors now have 60 days to announce whether or not they are going to ask for the DP. I can't see them not. But yeah. Gone Kev said he wants the prosecutors to seek that penalty, and in hopes that it will send a message to any other potential attackers in Idaho. We have to make sure the world knows that you can't come to Idaho, you can't hunt our children down, and you cannot attack them in their beds. It's just a given, a room to say. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of bad things happen across America. Steve Gonçalves said, but we moved here and people move here for the safety that we have. We have to make sure that the world knows that you can't come to Idaho, you can't hunt our children down, and you cannot attack them. So we do know that through Monday, I've got it on one of the lives, the last few lives. We've got this. So I will not go through it again. We know that pretty much all he said was yes. And I think he maybe spoke maybe 4 other words. Is he prepared to announce his plea? So that was the important one. And that is the one where his lawyer stood up and said, Your Honor, we are standing silent. So what standing silent is a strategy that relies on Idaho criminal rule, which requires a judge to then enter a not guilty plea in the defendant's behalf, effectively allowing him to avoid verbally committing to being guilty or not guilty. It also gives them the freedom to change their plea to guilty at any given time. So what they've done is just given themselves a little bit more wiggle room. We will have full front showing up at that courtroom when the time comes. I have no doubt. So he was saying that they do have frequent contact with the other families and victims. And I think that's wonderful because through this, the best people for them to be with, communicate with, are people who understand. And not many of us understand this. We don't know the feelings as harsh as they are. So I am really glad that they are leaning on each other. So we also know that Steve has had a lot to say about the gag order. And along with law enforcement and attorneys for the prosecution, the order also legally bars attorneys for any interested party in the case, including any lawyer representing a witness, victim, or the victim's family, from speaking about the case publicly. So I don't know, guys. What do you think about that? Do you think you know, my mind goes 1,000 different directions. In some ways, I agree with the gag order, and in other ways, not so much. It's definitely a give and take type of thing. Yeah. DP case for you as well. You know, like I say, this is just beyond comprehension. I have to say, if it was my child, I would so what he did with this standing silent, what that basically is he is not verbalizing it, so therefore the judge will verbalize it and say that not guilty. That's the automatic. So since those words didn't physically come out of his mouth, it does give him the option from here to trial date to say, I'm guilty. You know, I'll take a guilty plea if you guys will give me this or give me that. It just gives them a little bit more wiggle room. So yeah, 60 days to find out if the state's going to go for the DP. It's one hell of a thing, this one, isn't it? Okay. So I'll put some of this through. This is him in court the other day. They do release it. They just did not have cameras in there streaming live. And it sounds very much, from what I was able to see, that it might be the same with the trial itself. So let's check this out.
All rise. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Good morning, everybody. We have some people on Zoom here too, so okay, let's get on the record, please. Thank you. Okay, we are now on the record in
Baja. So have you guys seen this? And do you mind rewatching it? To me, I think we can continue to learn things from this. Let me know what you think.
State of Idaho versus Bryan C. Kohberger, CR 29222803. Mr. Kohlberger is in the courtroom along with his attorney, Ms. Taylor. I believe also part of the team is Jay Ronston and Elisa Massa, who is participating by Zoom, I believe. The state is represented by Mr. Thompson, Lake County Prosecutor's Office, or Prosecuting Attorney. Ms. Jennings is of that office too, Lake County Prosecutor's Office. Also, part of that team is Ingrid Beatty and Jeff Nye, both from the Idaho Attorney General's Office. I'm John Judge. If you don't know me, I'm the Lake County District Judge. And I'll be presiding over this case. So, Mr. Kohlberger, you've already heard a lot of what I'm going to tell you at your initial appearance, but I'll repeat it to you because it's important, and I want to remind you of these issues. So I'll briefly cover your rights, the charges against you, and the maximum penalties if you are found guilty or if you plead guilty. So I'm going to start with the rights. You have a constitutional right to have an attorney represent you throughout these proceedings. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, then one is appointed at public expense. Ms. Taylor and her team have already been appointed, so that's taken care of. You have a right to a speedy and public jury trial where the state would be required to prove every element of each charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. At that trial, you would have the right to cross-examine the witnesses called against you. That means to see, hear, and question them, to call witnesses to testify for you, and if you choose to testify in your own defense. but you're not required to testify because you also have the right of silence. That right is protected under the Idaho and federal constitutions, so you can remain silent throughout these court proceedings, and that can't be held against you in any way. What you do need to remember, though, is that anything you do say, other than to your lawyers, could be used against you in a later court proceeding. You understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. You also have a right to appeal any final decision of the court. In order to exercise that right, you need to file a notice of appeal within 42 days of that final decision, or that right is waived. Also, if you are not a United States citizen, any finding of guilt in the state could have adverse consequences to your legal status. Do you understand these rights?
Yes.
Any questions about the rights?
No.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Kohlberger. So let's go to the indictment. You have a copy of the indictment in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And you see in the heading your name there. Is that your correctly spelled complete name?
Yes, it is.
Is that the correct birth date underneath your name?
Yes.
Are those the correct last 4 digits of your social security number?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to read you the charges on the indictment, starting with count 1, burglary. That is a felony under Idaho Code Section 18-1401 and 1403. This alleges that you, on or about November 13, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did unlawfully enter a residence located at 1122 King Road, Moscow, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder. Count 2, murder in the first degree. That is a felony under Idaho Code Section 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. This alleges that you, on or about November 13, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Madison Mogan, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogan, from which she died. Count 3, murder in the first degree, a felony under Idaho Code Section 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. This alleges that you, on or about November 13, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Kayla Gonzalez, a human being, by stabbing Kayla Gonzalez, from which she died. Count 4.
So, yeah, he has the creepiest freaking eyes that I just can't get over how creepy they are. There's one shot where you can see the side of him, and he shows the one eye, and it's like there's just not a lot in there. Yeah, and it does seem he clenches his jaw a lot. Pretty much any time something major is kind of said, you can see him kind of gulp.
Murder in the first degree. That's a felony under Idaho Code Section 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. Alleging that you, on or about November 13, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Zayna Kernodal. Excuse me. This is hard. I'm sorry. Zayna Kernodal, a human being, by stabbing Zayna Kernodal, from which she died. Count 5, murder in the first degree. This is a felony under Idaho Code Section 18-4001, 4002, 4003, and 4004. This alleges that you, on or about November 13, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice aforethought, kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being, by stabbing Ethan Chapin, from which he died. This is signed on May 16, 2023, by the presiding grand juror. So now I'm going to go to the maximum penalties of each charge, starting with count 1, burglary, minimum 1 year, up to 10 years in imprisonment, fine of up to $50,000 or both fine and imprisonment, restitution for the victim's economic losses resulting from the crime. For counts 2, 3, 4, and 5, murder in the first degree, maximum penalties, life in prison or the death penalty. Fine of up to $50,000 for both fine and life in prison or the death penalty. Restitution for the victim's economic losses resulting from the crime. Also, additional fine of up to $5,000 to be paid directly to the victim's families. If you are found guilty or plead guilty on each charge, and the maximum sentences are imposed consecutively, that means one right after the other, you could be facing 10 years in prison, followed by 4 consecutive life sentences or death penalties. Fine fines of up to $200,000 and $20,000 to be paid directly to the families with any restitution resulting from the crimes. Okay. Mr. Kohlberger, do you understand the charge in count 1?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand?
Thank
the charge in
you,
count
thank
2,
you, thank
murder
you.
in the first degree?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count 3, murder in the first degree?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count 4, murder in the first degree?
Yes.
Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Do you understand the charge in count 5, murder in the
Yes.
first degree? Do you understand the maximum penalty?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Taylor, is Mr. Kohlberger prepared to plead to these charges?
Your Honor, we will be standing aside.
Okay, because Mr. Kohlberger is standing silent, I'm going to enter not guilty pleas on each charge, counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, at this juncture, the state has 60 days to give notice of intention to seek the death penalty. And Mr. Kohlberger has a constitutional and statutory right to a speedy trial. So let's start with you, Ms. Taylor, and then Mr. Thompson to discuss some schedule.
Your Honor, we'd ask the court to set this trial at the very outside of the speedy trial, right? We're not prepared to do anything but ask the court to do that today.
Okay. Count it out, and that will be November.
I have not counted it out, Your Honor, but I believe that we did out November 22nd as when the speedy will run. Maybe November 20th, something like that. So I'd ask the court to set it for an October trial date.
How long do you think it will take to try the case?
My best guess is it would take at least 4 weeks, maybe 6.
So you'd like me to set this for a 6-week trial?
At this point, I would.
And if we do so, I will have to get rid of some of the other 30 trials I have, but this is more critical and more important. So, Mr. Thompson, what's your
Those trial dates are workable for the state judge.
thank you. About October 2nd, starting.
Yes, sir.
Okay, for 6 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Anything else we need to address today, Taylor?
Not with regard to the trial setting.
Anything else?
No.
Thompson?
Nothing to say at this time now.
All right. So with that, by the way, I do want to let everybody know, if they don't already know this, that once the grand jury issued the indictment, preliminary hearing scheduled to start on June 26th was no longer needed and was vacated. So some people are confused about that. So I thank council and the media and the public for your attention and respect. So we are adjourned. Thank you.
Yep. Unreal. You guys are hilarious. Oh my word. Okay, let's see. Yeah. What else? Do I have anything else? What do we got here? Oh, that's right, guys. That's right.
Keep it quilted means you
Okay, there's this. So it's looking like Steve Goncalves is planning on suing the city and University of Moscow, Washington. The families of 2 of the slain University of Idaho students are preparing to sue the university, Bryan Kohberger's University, Washington State, and the city of Moscow over the deaths. An attorney representing the family of Kaylee Goncalves, 21, and Madison Mogan, 21, filed tort notices this month, protecting their rights to sue within the next 2 years. So, wow. The notices do not reveal what claim the families make, and no lawsuit has been filed at this stage. The revelation comes after their accused attacker, Kohlberger, appeared in a court for his arraignment in Latah County Court in Moscow. During the arraignment, he refused, as we know, to enter the plea on all of the accounts, and the judge had to plea for him, which we learned was called standing silent. So let's see here. So there's not much else, friends. I think we've covered everything as much as we can. There's some more documents out that I wouldn't mind going through, but I'll do that at another time. There's lots of documents to go through. So maybe later today, maybe tomorrow, I'll do a live sharing some of these documents with you guys to see what you think. So, guys, I am going to call it quits for this one. And I'm going to get looking at these documents, like I was saying. And there's also a case out there. And it's a doctor from Cassville. He's been missing for a little while now. What are we at? I think it's been 3 days. John Forsythe. Let's see here. 180 pounds, 49, 5'11", eye color blue. He was wearing a black shirt, / blue with gray pants, and was last seen on the 21st of this month. So I might do something on that later as well. So again, guys, thank you very, very much for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.